What's going on, guys? Openhand here. Been playing a bit of Elden Ring lately. Figured I would come back and do another playthrough because after my first playthrough, I'm pretty sure I missed like half the game. So I just recently finished my second playthrough, and I figured I'd go ahead and show you guys what kind of build I came up with here. Just kind of looking at the character. As you can see, I am running a Great Shield and I'm running Mog's Sacred Spear. I really kind of like the style of being able to block and push at the same time. Kind of want to go for like a really, really like balanced kind of build here. Just like a lot of defenses, good AR, a few incantations, stuff like that. So that's kind of what I landed on. Obviously with Mog's Secret Spear, the weapon arm of this thing is insane. And I'm pretty sure it has the longest reach for any kind of great spear out there. So pretty easy choice, has a bleed build up on it and stuff like that. It's a really, really good weapon. And here I'm using the Gold Great Shield plus 25 as well. Something I didn't even know until I did a little bit of research and stuff is that compared to the Brass Shield, like, Great Shield's obviously way a lot more, costs a lot more strength to wield and stuff like that. And the Brass Shield, is very light. That's a cost most strength. It's only like 16 strength for Brass Shield. And they both have like 100% physical damage negation. But one thing I didn't know is with Great Shields, when you get attacked and you're blocking with a Great Shield, a lot of time like enemies will kind of bounce off your Great Shield and kind of stagger for a moment, and it'll kind of leave them open to like guard counters or just kind of any kind of like quick poke or something like that. Now if you're running the Brass Shield, that doesn't really happen much, like at all. They'll hit you and they'll just keep hitting you. And sometimes even with the Brass Shield, like you'll start staggering even though you still have stamina. Like they hit you with like a heavy attack and you're using the Brass Shield. Sometimes you'll still stagger, so I definitely think having a Great Shield here is worth the investment. And obviously on top of that too, there's plenty of a lot more guard boost. I think the Brass Shield only has like 59. This one obviously has 78. And if you're not sure what guard boost is, it's how much stamina damage you take every time you block an attack. So obviously the higher is a lot better. So yeah, I mean, the Great Shield, in my opinion, it's night and day compared to the Brass Shield. If you're gonna try to run like a tanky kind of poke build, I feel like you definitely need a Great Shield for that kind of stuff. After that, I'm using Dragon Communion Seal plus 10. I am running, high Arcane, so it just scales well. It's kind of scaling on it. It kind of stops scaling damage and stuff after 45 Arcane, but I'll kind of get into that later. I went to 50, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Why that's kind of lowish. I guess, the main reason is that Mog's Sacred Spear, the blood loss buildup on it doesn't really increase very much with Arcane. So, Dragon Communion Seal kind of capping out at like 45 Arcane as far as damage goes. And then Mog's Sacred Spear not having much blood loss buildup. I kind of felt like it was better to go the strength route for more defense, stuff like that. But again, I'll get that in a minute. Equipment though, Twin Helm and the rest of the Tree Sentinel armor set. I just kind of like the look of it, and the Twin Helm kind of looks, kind of like a gladiator dealio. Now, if you're not a fan of helmets, which I know a lot of people aren't, and I was doing this for a while, but I just kind of recently decided to opt for a little bit more defense. You can always throw in the Commoner's Headband, and you're still at that sweet spot of poise at 51 for PvE, so you can usually tank like a hit from an enemy and stuff like that. And if it's more aesthetically pleasing to you, then that's totally fine or whatever. Yeah, I decided to kind of go for just a little more defense. Because again, I do kind of like it with the Twin Helm too. There's really not many good helmets in this game that like go well with a lot of the armor, especially like the Tree Sentinel set. So yeah, this one is probably my favorite helmet to kind of go with the set. So that's what I kind of opted on. It's got good defense on it too, so not a bad choice. After that, the talismans I got here. Great Jar's Arsenal. This thing's insane. It's like 20% increase in your equip load. Kind of a no-brainer there. After that, Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman, enormously boosting your physical damage negation. Like I said, I kind of want to be like a really tanky build here. I'll show you my defense and damage negation here is quite high. 47.4 physical, and you can read all the stuff in there. Very, very high, so we can tank quite a few hits without really getting in the danger zone. and then the 161 defense, which is a lot of the reason, like I said, why I opted to go more strength focused than Arcane, because again, it's more defense, a little bit more bang for your buck per stat point, in my opinion. So after that, Earth Street's favor +2, health, stamina. We do rely on stamina quite a bit with this build because we're blocking a lot, so having any kind of extra stamina is nice, and the equip load again is nice, and HP again, just can't really go wrong with this talisman in my opinion. And after that, Green Turtle Talisman. This is kind of your flex spot. I run this because again, stamina is pretty important because we are blocking a lot. But if you want to kind of spam, you know, the weapon art and stuff, you can always go for like, you know, Shard of Alexander. Personally, that's not really how I play this. I mean, I think the weapon art does plenty of damage even without any kind of like talisman buffs or anything like that. So I figured the Green Turtle Talisman is just a little bit more readily usable, I guess, because you're always going to be generating stamina, and you're not always going to be using the weapon art. So decided to go that route, but again, that's kind of your flex spot. You can pretty much pick whatever you want here. There's a little bit of weight room left too for certain talismans, as you can see. So it's be pretty hard to find one to put you in a heavy load. So yeah, it's just really pretty much flex spot there. Okay, I guess I'll go into my stat distribution here. I mainly play PvE. I played a little bit of PvP, but I really enjoy the PvE aspects of this game. So it's, you know, why I only have 40 vigor. I think if you're going to play PvP, you probably want 60 vigor. I want to mess around with some of the stats. You'd probably drop mind a bit and stuff like that if you're going to like heavy PvP. So 40 vigor and 24 mind. This gives you 7 cast on your weapon art. Again, you can probably cut it down a little bit if you want. Like if you want to go to like 20, that way you have 6 cast, because with this weapon art you can do it 3 times in a row. So technically if you're min-maxing, it probably makes more sense to go to 20. But I like the 142 FP. That way I can summon, you know, Tish, the Black Knife or whatever, who costs I think 135 MP. Even though I'm generally summoning Mimic Tier, but it's just kind of nice to have that option, you know. But if you're going to really min-max this, you probably do want to go to 20, maybe throw 4 extra points into strength or something like that, get a little bit more defense and a little bit more attack and stuff like that. After that, 34 endurance. That's just because I need 34 to not fat roll. If you're going to run the commoner's band instead of like this helmet, you can drop that down to 30. So you can have 4 more points to kind of do what you want with. I'd probably recommend putting it in strength. That way you can kind of compensate for not really having a helmet by getting a little bit more defense. I think you go up to like 164, 165 defense if you add this 4.10. So that's pretty good. After that 55 strength, like I said, I kind of wanted to go heavier in strength as opposed to Arcane because I wanted the extra defense. And the thing with Arcane too, with this weapon particularly, is once you get the 50 Arcane, you stop getting 3 AR per point. So it just seemed kind of redundant really to put more than 50 Arcane into this build. So I did 155 strength, which got me up to 161 AR. Again, if I drop mine down to 20, I'd probably throw 4 more points in strength, just have a little bit more AR and defense. A little bit more bang for my buck, I guess. After that, 14 dex to be able to wield the weapon. 7 intelligence, because we are not using any intelligence stuff. Excuse me. 15 faith, because I wanted to have a few incantations to kind of take advantage of, you know, my relatively high arcane stat. So I, let's see, I got Flame Grant Me Strength, Bestial Vitality, very good just to throw on, lasts a very long time. Stone of Garank, just, this is pretty much a ranged option. Just a very, very good spell in my opinion, you know, has a lot of stagger, just pretty good damage. It's only 13 faith to be able to use it. It's got good range, just very, very good. And then I got a couple dragon things here. Again, I am using Dragon Communion Seal, or Seal plus 10, so it seemed like a good idea to have a couple of these. I don't use them very often. They're very situational things, but I'll generally use, like, I don't know, like Dragon Ice, right? If there's like a ton of enemies in front of me that my you know, weapon art can't quite reach, or, you know, I feel like Stone of Garank just can't kill them fast enough or something like that. I kind of feel like Dragon Eyes has a little bit more range and a little bit more of a spread than a lot of the other dragon incantations too. So it's very cheap, only 15 faith to be able to use it. So I figured why not. Oops. And then the what's the other one? A Rotten Breath, just for Scarlet Rot. Really, it's pretty good if you just want to apply Scarlet Rot to a lot of stuff. So, but again, I do rarely use those. So let's see. After that, I think that's actually mostly it. Oh, I guess something kind of interesting you can do if you really want to be kind of crazy about it. And since we do have a little bit of faith, but we don't have 25 faith, you can always, let's see, grab, like if you're going to PvP or something, this is probably a really good idea to do. You get the Golden Halberd, obviously it's put you in that roll, but, you know, you can use the Whipping Art on this thing, get Golden Bow, right? And then I guess I'll use this too. Wait, what? Oh shoot, it's like, why can't I cast this? Alright, no, if I don't. But anyways, the point is, sorry, you can remove that spear and then you can go back to this and you'll still have the buffs from like Gold Bow and Flame Gaming Strength. Oh my god, sorry, I kind of derped out there a minute. Yeah, that's just something if you really want to be kind of crazy about it, especially for PvP. I think it's actually probably worth it. But other than that, I think that's pretty much the build. For summons, Mimic Tear is obviously insane, because your Mimic Tear is obviously going to be using the Weapon Art, causing bleed and stuff like that. So it's a lot of good synergy there. You use Teach sometimes for fun. But yeah, I think that's about it. Got any questions? Let me know, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.